Hey guys, what's up? What's happening? It's your girl Ebony Jade, aka EJ, and it's tap-in time to tell you we got a show in about 12 hours. Don't forget to tune in live on Facebook, live on Instagram, live on TikTok tonight. We're going to be talking about compromises, compromising yourself, compromising for dreams, just compromising in general. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. We'll see you then tonight, 9 p.m. Have a great day. Stay blessed. Way I got to. All right, we are live. Happening, guys. It's your girl Ebony Jade, aka EJ. We're on. Hey guys. What's up? What's happening, guys? It's your girl Ebony Jade, aka EJ, and we're back at it with the good stuff. Welcome, guys. I'm so excited with being a nice little host. I'm excited. Guys, thank you. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you always for your support. Thank you for always coming to my shows. Thank you for tuning in. And I also want to let you guys know that I do apologize. And used to listen into my show. I spoke with someone that used to listen. I kind of like, why do you always just disappear? You go MIA. You can't do that. With what you are trying to do and who you want to be, you can't just dip off to the side of the earth because there's people that are looking for you, you know? I had a time that I was supposed to be there and I wasn't. So I do want to apologize. And again, I want to thank you guys for your support because I wouldn't have a show if I didn't have you. On the plus side, I do think I kind of got this solo show down. Not to where I want it, but we're getting there. A little better than before, still not to where I want it, but we're getting there. I figure if I don't start now, I'm never gonna start the topic, and then the next part, well, you're gonna play a more larger role than you've played before. Well, you're gonna play a more larger role than you've played before, more than you've engaged before, because I've realized I'm not always able to get to the comments during my show, and there's a lot of great stuff that I want to be able to talk about, to address, and that's why we got a part 2. So for everything that we do miss on the first show, we're gonna of this radio show 2.0 address it on the second. The part 2 is for you guys to answer those questions, for you guys to give me your tips, because the idea of this radio show 2.0 or whatever we change the name to is really just getting to know each other and each other's differences, each other's different opinions, and each other's different ideas. And the pool of people that I know is so wide. Mean a lot to me because I feel like there's a lot of disconnect in the world because of differing opinions. And not just because of different opinions, but because we don't really understand the opposing opinion. Those differences, how did I phrase it? From everybody, and see to hear each other out, learn to understand each other in a different way that helps bring us together in a better way. So that's what it's all about, you know. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. I don't have to agree with it, and that's the point. I feel a lot of things you might not agree with, and you don't have to agree with it, and that's the point. I feel like something that I really wish other people did was just be more open. Be more understanding of others, because there's a lot of disconnect now. There's a lot of selfishness because people think that it's all about me. Unfortunately, the world that we live in has billions and billions of other people, so it's never just about us. And that's kind of what segues us into the show about compromise, because compromise is just another part of life. Every new obstacle, every new journey that we embark on, there's going to be some compromises. About where I am today, I think about where I am today, about the need so far to bring me to who I am today. And it's been good and bad, you know what I mean? I can personally say that I've come a long way from the woman that I was, or from the girl that I was, because I am now becoming a woman. And I realize that now in the past, I've made a lot of compromises, good and bad. In the past, I can say, though, they were more so bad than they were good. And part of growing into the new woman that I'm becoming is learning where I fell short in those older compromises. Compromising myself for others, or compromising on things. I found it was a lot of compromising myself for others, or compromising on things that I wouldn't really compromise because I felt like it was for the greater good. It was for the better whole, which I'm going to do. I'm a big team player. Compromise ahead, then I will do that because I've always been a person. If you to get better or get farther ahead, then I will do that because I've always been a person to feel like I can bounce back from anything. You know, I call myself the bounce back queen, but I don't want to be the bounce back queen anymore. I just want to just be the queen. You know, it's a beautiful art being able to. The problem with that also is losing yourself in those compromises. You know what I mean? It's more so when you are making those compromises for others or those compromises that might push you back from a place that you are, your place that you're going to. Like, how far back are you willing to let yourself, it's like, how far back are you willing to let yourself go, you know? Because the farther you let yourself go back is how far back you have to climb to get back to the top. And it's really just finding balance. That's one thing in all compromises, in all aspects of life, is finding balance. Authenticity. Finding your authenticity. Because knowing who you are and knowing what you want, knowing your goals, knowing what you're working towards makes it easier for you to not compromise on things that aren't good for you, on things that aren't going to serve you, on things that aren't going to, I don't know, progress your situation and where you want to be. And I'm not saying that in a selfish aspect, because definitely you are going to make compromises that aren't going to be all about you. Well, you should. You know what I mean? You should make compromises that aren't all about you because there is a bigger world than just us. But being able to stick with your authenticity while you're making your compromises and know where your boundaries lay and know where you stand with the compromises that you're making or going to make or want to make, it helps a lot. Supposed to do authenticity is being able to know yourself. And being able to know yourself is being able to take that time and learn yourself to do better, to learn the right compromise. The goal is to be better, to do better, to learn the right compromises to make, to learn when to compromise, to learn when not. And it's all a process. That's what I've learned. It's all a process, and it's not always a good process. Nothing is. But what in life is always good all the time? That's actually real. Comes into play when it comes into relationships. Because relationships are one of the key components of life. With significant others, there's everything entails in a relationship at work. We have relationships with our family. We have relationships with significant others. In the past, with my relationships and the compromises that I've made, I've learned that I've been more forthcoming with the compromises for others, for myself. Now, what I mean when I say that is with the compromises I made for myself. Now, what I mean when I say that is I've been more willing to do and go into action for others and compromise me and my beliefs and what I want because I think I could do everything. I said I'm the bounce back queen. But somewhere in those compromises, I can honestly say I lost myself because, compromise after compromise, especially if it's for someone else, when you're delving into them, so for example, I had a fiance. I was making a lot of compromises for that relationship because he had a lot of goals and he also didn't always have a lot of support. So I wanted to be that person to always be able to support him. But I compromised more of myself than I realized. Someone else than I did for myself. And living more into someone else than I did for myself. And in those compromises, boundaries, the line that I was willing to cross and not willing to cross. And it's kind of hard when you lose yourself because then you're just compromising for the greater good. And the greater good may just be whatever's going on or whatever brings a peaceful home. Who knows what the greater good might be? It always changes. But ultimately, the greater good should be you and relationships, healthy outlets, healthy things with relationships, healthy outlets, healthy things with balance. Again, there comes that balance. That's what I didn't have. I was making too many compromises for someone else and not enough compromise for myself because I didn't have balance, because I didn't know where I needed balance. Look at it like I have, and because I'm really blessed for is being able, I guess, be intentional with life like I am today. And that's something that I am decipher a situation and really just take the time, because now I know through and thoroughly who I am and who I want to be and what I'm working towards, and I'm willing to compromise and what I'm not. So willing to compromise and what I'm not. So Ebony learning how to say no has been a big thing about the compromise. I have had to set boundaries with myself and learn how to say no. Learning to take time for yourself. That 24/7 work lifestyle, that 24/7 work lifestyle, that go lifestyle, to taking time I was losing not myself physically, but mentally it was just hard to sustain. With everything that I wanted to do, everything that I was doing, I couldn't be there. I couldn't pour into myself. It's as though I was making compromises. I'll use this metaphor. I was trying to fill other people's cups with a half empty pitcher or a half full pitcher. When you're trying to fill someone else up and do for someone else, and it's a good thought, it's a good sentiment, but when you're empty, you're half empty, how are you going to delve into someone else? It don't matter, because compromising ends up being deeper than what the initial compromise was. Does that make sense? Because instead of pouring your half full pitcher into someone else's cup to fill them up, you want not only a full pitcher, but an abundant source of water, or whatever that source is, to quench that thirst. You want an abundant source, so you know that when it's time to make that compromise, and when you do have to empty your pitcher out to someone else, you're able to go back and fill yourself back up. I hope that kind of made sense, because I really like that metaphor. Thing we compromise for are our goals. Think about what you're doing now. Think about maybe a big drive in my life for all my goals, all my aspirations, and the things that I do. I always think about childhood me, because that is me now, and now I'm able to do those things I wasn't maybe so able to do before. I'm no longer making compromise the future that I want, the future that baby Ebba wanted, the future that I deserve. Because when you make those unnecessary compromises, it not only pushes you back, but then that's another thing. I keep repeating it. You want to be then that's another thing. I keep repeating it. You want to be able to be, and when you're making those compromises, again, knowing your authenticity helps. So being able to spend that time with yourself has been really important. I don't know, quit a job, because I usually like to work 2 jobs. Because now look where I am. I've made compromises to, quit a job, because I usually like to work 2 jobs. I quit my second job. I started school, because that is a compromise I made for myself. Like, you're in a good place. You said you were going to do it when you're ready, and you're ready. I compromised with myself. I didn't have my intro, but I feel like I had a banging show, so I wanted to do it, and here I am doing it. It's making those compromises that need to be made, because eventually I'm going to get my intro, I'm going to get my outro, I'm going to get all that, but I might lose the drive that I have today, because I might not have. If I would have organized this show now, then in the future, who's to say that it would have even happened? And that's another thing. You don't want to lose focus of your goals when you're compromising. Remember always what you start doing things for, and when the big picture. Remember always what you start doing things for. Figure it out. Find you. It's never too late to learn who you are, and learn how to love yourself, and learn how to give yourself everything you want, because we live in an abundant universe, in a beautiful world, and we have a lot of opportunities. We don't realize those opportunities, I feel like, because we're so busy trying to get all the components together to make the perfect opportunity, and it's never going to happen. Eventually, the components are going to come together, and you're going to get the opportunity. You're going to create the opportunity, because you started making the good compromises. Chasing my goals for baby Ebo, compromises that were pulling you back and started making more compromises that were bringing you forward. And then it's exciting. Another thing is, think about the future. Think about your future, the future you. You have to step into that. Who knows? Whatever to be that person today. Because all that time compromising, waiting until you have something. Just focus on your future. Waiting for components to fall into place, they're never going to fall into place. It has to be a constant motion, a constant forward motion. And then it all just comes. It comes just when it's supposed to, because that's how the universe works. Because when you work hard, what's the metaphor I'm thinking of? The grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. So once you're watering your own, you're feeding yourself and you're being fruitful to yourself, and you're being full to yourself. Healthy choices are and healthy compromises are and what have you. It's easier. Example, I always think about the industry I want to enter into. I always think about the industry I want to enter into. I love entertainment. I love being able to be a voice. I love being able to be a smile, because I feel like if I don't have anything else, I always have that, and a smile could change somebody's day. Able to be a person to positively impact someone else's life. To be able to be a person to positively impact someone else's life, even if it's in a minuscule way. And the compromises I was making in the past wasn't doing that, wasn't bringing me to be in order to fulfill myself, I guess you can say. And at the entertainment and things, and I look at it, and as a whole, it's a lot into with the entertainment and things. It's a lot. I have a thing about popping ass on the internet. It's a lot more open in a different type of way. I'm open to a lot of things, but I kind of have a thing about popping ass on the internet. I'm not going to be walking around in a thong bathing suit, but it's not for me. But I do see it a lot in this industry. Then that's just for example to do, but compromises that I would make morally wise. And I think about that, and yeah, I might get to where I want to go. And I think about that, and yeah, I might get to where I want to go faster if I do those things, but how am I going to feel with myself afterwards? I'm the one that has to rest with myself. I am for the approval of people I don't even know, or I'm never going to meet. What is that going to do for me? If I can't be fully authentically me, then there's no reason for me to be in the eye, because it's the authenticity that I hold that I want to share with others. It's the uniqueness. Compromises, you end up like losing yourself and becoming your dreams, and you're making those compromises. An individual or a unique person, you're just one of the collective, and you end up again losing yourself, and you lose your authenticity. How can I relate it? Like Taylor Swift, for example, maybe she didn't lose her authenticity, and I don't know, how can I relate it? Like Taylor Swift, for example, maybe she didn't lose her authenticity, but it shifted. I mean, when she first started, she was a little country singer, and we love that. And now she's a pop star, and I mean, we still love that. But she wouldn't be as big. She might be happier, but I don't know. She's marrying a football player, and she's probably pretty happy. Anyways, a lot of thoughts about it, but I really want to know what you guys think. And I do have a lot of thoughts about it, but I really want to know what you guys think. Good and bad compromises. Compromise places that you wanted to go. What would you compromise that you wanted to go? Compromise you wanted to be aspirations, and we're making the wrong compromises. We get comfortable jobs, goals and aspirations, and we're making the wrong compromises. We get comfortable jobs, and this is good. The bills are paid, family's happy. We lose our dreams, and then we lose our happiness, and we lose sight of life, and then we're just doing the day-to-day, and then we wonder, women are happy feelings, and it comes with kind of making the wrong compromise. But I do want to know, what do you guys think? Tell me, making a compromise. Are you willing to compromise your morals or things that you believe in? Are you willing to compromise your morals or things that you believe in? Where you want to be or to your goals? Are you willing? And how you feel and how you feel and what you believe to be is right. How do you kind of approach compromise? Because I know sometimes compromise has like a negative connotation to it, and I don't want to project it that way by any means, because like I said, it has multiple sides. But how do you approach don't really want to engage in, or you or think you're giving a little too much? How do you find the balance with your guys' compromise? And I mean, hope I gave you a lot to think about. It's not too much. I feel like it's not too much. It's just enough. And I feel like I probably gave you a lot to think about. I hope I gave you a lot to think about. Are you more of a person that... I need your guys' input on these polls, so you got to tune in next week. Something that's been on my mind a lot lately, flushable wipes. Like, yeah, they're great. Like, do you guys flush flushable wipes, or do you put them in the garbage? Because, I don't know. I'd like to hear everybody's input. That's something that gets me going. I just, it's a conundrum. It is a conundrum. But I'm going to put up some polls that have to do also not about flushable wipes, but more about compromise. I don't compromise. You're more steadfast in your ways. Are you more compromise? Are you the person that I don't compromise? You're more steadfast in your ways. Are you more lenient? Like, I don't mind compromise. I don't really like it, but I will. Or are you, I'm going to compromise. I don't mind. I'm going to compromise. It's okay. I'm going to compromise. I want to know. Also, I want to know what you think. Have you made more, in your opinion, good compromises for your life, bad compromises? And maybe if you want to give an example, I'm cool with that. But I'd like to know more, guys. If I didn't have her, I'm going to kind of breeze through it for your support. Things on YouTube. And again, I'm excited. Guys, I wouldn't have a show if I didn't have you. Thank you always, and thank you forever for your support. I'm excited to dive in and see what we get and see where we're going to go, because it's the end of something meh and the beginning of something great. And I don't really know how to put that in like normal people words, but I know what I mean, and you guys are going to catch on eventually. Guys, time. Thanks for in the chat, because the live will pop for the beautiful future that is upon us. Peace. What always supporting me. Bye. In live video to TikTok.
Deuces. Surprised I actually got wait for the beautiful future. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Now, how do I get out of here? Maybe this. Peace. What do they say? Mic drop.